I'm just curious, and you said that the when the faucet's open, something's going to come out. Was that the same? Like, is that mentality all throughout your music?
Basically, I think it's gotten more refined is the only
Hmm.
way I could like think of it. Like I think over the years of writing, I like now know better than I did when I started.
Hmm.
Like I now know when I'm turning. It's intentional. Like this is what I'm doing right now in this moment, just so I can create some sort of outcome later on, and I'm open to seeing whatever that outcome is.
Welcome everybody to Casting for Two, the podcast, as always hosted by me, Chris. I need to adjust my arm, not my physical arm, but my microphone arm. Welcome everybody. What episode is this? I don't even know what episode this is. 490. That's what episode it is. 10 away from the big 500. Oh boy, that's coming up close. Oh jeez. Fantastic episode for you all today. Of course, keeping up with me is super easy to do. Castingfor2.com will take you to my link tree where you can, follow me on all the social platforms that you do, and also listen to the podcast and all the preferred places you want to go. So go to castingfor2.com, have yourself a good time. Join the Discord, leave me a voice message, whatever you want to do, just do it. My guest today is a phenomenal singer, songwriter, musician, just human being. Benjamin Carter is on the podcast, and if you haven't heard his music, please do yourself a huge favor and go check it out because it's truly phenomenal. But I'm done talking because we need to get into this episode, all right? So everybody sit back, relax, and Benjamin, take it away. Yeah, just I'm excited for this chat. I'm also excited because after this, in another hour, I get to go to bed. So that's also pretty cool.
That is very, very cool. Yeah, I'm actually here. I'm in Brazil. It's like 11 o'clock, 11:02 here. So
Oof.
I got some wine. So I'm right after you. I'll be passing out.
Well, I mean, first off, thank you for the late conversation. But what brings
Of
you
course.
to Brazil?
This is actually so my wife's side of the family is well, my wife is Brazilian.
Mm-hmm.
And so her whole family is all down here besides her mom. Her mom really is the only person who's up in the US. And so we had a kid actually in 2020, and because of everything, we just, she never got to meet family and or any of that. And, for me, that's a big, that's like a big foundation principle sort
Yeah.
of thing. So I'm just like, nah, like I can't let my kid become 2 years old and not meet family. So we just got out of here. Her second birthday was last week. So we got out of here a week and a half ago, about 2 weeks ago, just so family can meet her, celebrate her second birthday, and we'll be her kicking it kind of beachside, still working obviously, but kicking it beachside till the end of to mid-September ish. I think that's when my tourist visa's up, and she's also got to go back. And yeah, so we're just we're living it up, man. I got the beach view right over here.
Oh, and it must look
It's
horrible. It must be like, bleh.
terrible.
Ugh.
I'm living a terrible, terrible life. So pray for me, man.
Well, I'll try. I'll try. No, no, but that sounds actually very lovely, and I'm glad that you're able to, bring or to visit family and have them meet the little one, and also just
Yeah, man.
just spend time. So okay, so since you're in this new setting, and just kind of taking it all in, do you feel like that's inspired your songwriting at all?
Um, It's hard. It might be too soon to tell.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I mean? I'm in a new setting. It's inspired my writing. So
Mm.
I've been actually doing this thing where I'm doing like a poem a day.
Okay.
Because the way I kind of write and the way I work from songs to songwriting to everything is like I basically am like keep the faucet open
Hmm.
is the way like I kind of tell myself. So like I'll go in a studio session and I'll try making a rap song, a country song, or whatever, whatever it is. Just not always because I'm like, yo, I need to come out with like a hit. I'm
Right.
like, but if the faucet's open, something's coming out, and then what follows on the next session might be the thing.
Mm.
So right now it's just like a poem a day, writing about my experiences, kind of like what my life is feeling like, what's going on in my mind. I can't speak the language well, so I'm very introverted here, and I'm not an introverted guy.
Yeah.
But since my Portuguese is like not as strong, I like makes me very self-reflective. So it's a perfect time to write a poem a day for sure.
Well, yeah, it's the ultimate, fish out of water kind of thing, and yeah, I think that's if there's one thing I've always wanted to do, it's go live in a place where I don't know the language and just see what happens, see how I can make it and all that. And I'm not saying I'm living through you right now, but I feel like a little bit. I'm very interested in
No,
the journey that you're on right now.
it's been like there's some days I like just wake up and I'll be in the elevator and I'm like reading the signs in a different language and it's like, oh fuck. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know if I can curse,
No, you
but
can.
I'm
You're
like,
good. You're good.
sick. I was just like, oh fuck, I'm not in America. It's like my brain's in America,
Yeah.
but like because I'm thinking in English and I'm thinking very normal Western American whatever, and then I'll just look up and I'm just like, damn, dude, I don't understand anything going on like right now. So there's just these moments where it just hits you really fast, or when I'm at the park or something and I bring my kid to the park and I like walk over there, my brain is like, oh, so you're gonna see some other parents just say what's up, and then I get over there and they're like, boa tarde, bom dia, and I'm like, oh damn,
Yeah, you
right.
too. Right back at you. All right. Finger
And
guns.
I'm like, damn, I gotta figure this out. So it is definitely been sink or swim, and I have basic, if I need to get around, I can communicate with you. But like once we're all in like conversations and people are joking and laughing, you've lost me. Like I'm a deer with headlights on. I have no idea what the hell is going on.
Yeah, a lot of my family and my girlfriend's family, they all speak Spanish and I do not.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm often in situations where everyone's laughing and I'm just sitting there like, ha ha ha. I don't know what they're saying, but socially, I see people laughing. Okay, they're probably telling a joke. Is it on me? Who knows? Either way, I'm gonna laugh. So
Yeah. It's better that I just sit here and laugh.
yeah, yeah. But and then you want to make sure to start the laugh later, but end it before everyone stops.
Yes, yeah.
Just
Wow, you've thought through it.
I don't want to say I've had experience, but yes, I've had plenty of experience of just.
This is good tips. I'm gonna write them all down.
Oh yeah, no problem. But also, the South America always has I don't want to say a special place in my heart, but definitely there's a spot in my heart for South America, which is the exact same thing, Chris. But just because when I was learning Spanish, as you can see, it didn't work. But still, when I was taking Spanish in high school, they made us learn all the capitals in South America, and that's one of the only thing that I really took away from from my 2 years of Spanish classes. So when you said Brazil, I was like, oh, Brasilia, Brazil. That's the capital.
Yeah.
And then
It is.
that's just where my brain goes. Like, oh, okay, yeah.
That's funny.
So, but yeah, what it's a cool party trick that even if I'm wrong to the right person, I can convince them that I'm not wrong. So
Yeah, for sure. That's all that fucking matters, man.
exactly.
That is literally it.
But and I know you kind of mentioned it earlier, about your writing process and stuff like that. But again, I'm curious because I listened to the EP and what a delight, what a pleasure, and I have questions about the EP because I love the tone of it. I'm just curious, and you said that when the faucet's open, something's going to come out. Was that the same? Like, is that mentality all throughout your music?
Basically, I think it's gotten more refined. Is the only way I could think of it. I think over the years of writing, I now know better than I did when I started. I now know when I'm turning. It's intentional. This is what I'm doing right now in this moment, so I can create some sort of outcome later on. And I'm open to seeing whatever that outcome is. And so I can do that a little easier now versus before. It was kind of like, I'm doing this and, okay, when I do this, this happens. So I had to say for Black Boys on the Radio, it was kind of close to the same, but it was really more a built up of frustration with, to be honest, probably with myself, built up frustration with my life at the time. I kind of was, I was doing the R&B route, singer-songwriter route, and I loved it. And I was having fun with it for sure. But I just I think 2020 just I was spending a lot of my time in 2020, thinking about race, thinking about, as a lot of people were obviously, from George Floyd to Ahmaud Arbery to Breonna Taylor. So I spent a lot of 2020 thinking about race myself, where I play in that. I lost my job. I had a kid. It's a pandemic. I'm sitting inside my house. So it was a lot of self-reflection, a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, a lot of stuff just kind of all happening at once. And then, but I remember, trying to get outside, pick skateboarding back up. And I would listen to guys like Gene Dawson. I found Elliot, the band Mags, but Elliot on there. And then I found Kenny Hoopla, and I was like, oh man, these are Black guys that are doing rock music. And they look like me and they're doing rock. And I was always like, man, I remember when I was in high school and I was listening to music, a lot of rock music. And my dad grew up loving big hair bands and stuff. I was like, I always wanted to do that shit. And I kind of did the hardcore thing, or tried to do the kind of, we were actually Christcore or whatever with, me and my friends. And then all of a sudden it just didn't work. We were just bad. And so I kind of just was I always felt like I didn't fit, or was no lane for me. And then I wasn't enjoying my time writing R&B songs. It felt so forced. And so one day I just kind of picked up the acoustic guitar and just dead ass opened the faucet. And I probably wrote Black Boys on the Radio within 10 minutes. It just I walked out on my little balcony in Koreatown in LA, and I just went, she said, Black Boys always play on the radio. And it just flowed out. And that first line just came out and I went, damn, that's kind of tight. And then I just kept writing, and I wrote the whole thing. And I remember just walking inside being like, I have no idea where this goes, because, I don't do this kind of music. So I was thinking, at that moment, I was like, I hit my manager up and said, hey, I'm going to start a side project. We're going to call the band Le Saint Chappelle. I'm going to get some other guys, and we're going to do a side project called Le Saint Chappelle. And he's like, all right, whatever. He's just he's so good at just all right, what does this guy need? Where are we going? And so I'm like, all right, I'm going to start a side project, another band. I get the studio session set up. I go to this producer. I say, hey, we're going to do some rock music. And he's like, okay, cool. And I was like, for my side project, first day in, we write Psycho. And I was like, all right. This is second day in, we finish the job. And then I literally am like, dang, all of these are so heavy race. And again, I didn't necessarily go like, this is the type of project I'm going to write. It just was what I was feeling.
Right.
And so, it just kind of flowed out of me just talking about these subjects, from police brutality to, Psycho feeling like a box in by stereotype, to Black Boys on the Radio feeling like this idea of, people feeling, of guys who are like me, people being like, no, I'm not racist. I voted for this person. All right, how can I be racist? I have a Black friend.
Right.
And so all of those, the ideas kind of were at the forefront of my brain. And I just kind of just wrote on them. And then I sat there after those 3 songs were done and went, these songs aren't nearly as powerful if they're listening to Chappelle. They got to come from Benjamin Carter, because it's just like, they're so personal.
Yeah.
And so I was like, dude, this is going to be really weird, but like, we should drop Psycho this summer, and next year drop a project called Black Boys on the Radio and just do it. And my manager was like, I say we just do it, man. And he's like, we don't need to stick to a genre. Like, I was like, it could throw people off, but like, it's just what I felt.
Yeah.
So that's a long way to say, but it was just like, again, the faucet turned on, and it happened to be something in that moment that was like, oh, this was all what was here the whole time. But I was in sessions all year. You know what I mean? We were working, we were writing, I was writing. So the faucet was always on. It's just like, by the time it got to like, hey, I want to try this, this is all that started flowing out within a couple weeks. And then later in the year, wrote Lost Control and Hands Up, Don't Shoot. And which I also, are some of my favorite songs. And Hands Up, Don't Shoot, I cry to, like in the car. Like that song, this to me is one of the most powerful songs I think I've ever written. And so there's all of the project itself came together in a really, really just beautiful, you can't really put a finger on it.
Right.
It just, the way it came together feels almost divine. Like I didn't really have a hand on it. It just flowed out.
Right. And so you said Psycho, Finish the Job, Black Boys on the Radio. That was something that you wrote then, and then Hands Up, Don't Shoot, and Lost Control came out later, like months later.
Yeah, like months later. I think Black Boys on the Radio probably was like April. Psycho was, Black Boys on the Radio was probably March. Psycho and Finish the Job probably April last year. Lost Control and Hands Up, Don't Shoot were September, October last year.
Okay.
And some more stuff was written obviously in between, but like out of those 5, those are the 5 that were like, okay, these ones are sticking for sure.
Yeah. Because again, listening to it, I got so many like nodes of like TV on the radio.
Nice.
I love TV on the Radio, and they're one of the bands that I hope I can see before I die.
Yeah.
But they're always very catchy, very groovy, very driven. And then they get you with the lyrics, which and so when I was listening to the EP, I was just like, dang. And I remember listening to it when I was first sent it, and I was just, oh, this is a yes. Like within minutes, like I think 30 seconds into Psycho, I was like, I gotta talk to this gentleman because I want to know more about this process. And
straight woman.
And it's you mentioning 2020 being what it was. I think anybody who didn't go through something through 2020, I maybe besides Jared Leto, maybe they weren't just like paying attention or anything. Like how can you not be at a certain point in your life and not go through something that happened through 2020? I know I was similar boat. I didn't have a kid, but laid off, and then with everything racially going on and me evaluating my place in the world, it was just like, holy crap! Like what? Like if I could have written something, I would have. I can't write for crap though. This is why I'm glad you exist, because it's like, okay, you can do it. You can do it way better than I could.
That's funny, man. The 2020, it's one of those things where I think I like personality tests. I don't know if if you do like personality tests and shit, but like I'll do like Enneagram, Myers-Briggs, like Strength Finders test. Like I don't know, I just like that shit. And so the Enneagram, what's funny is that like it's like they go by numbers, and essentially like my number personality is like the enthusiast, or the person who likes to like fucking throw parties and stuff. And so I like very like charismatic, very fun, very rah rah. But then like it's like basic fear, pain. Always runs to pleasure, runs to other outlets. And so like I found myself in parts with addictions and issues and everything else in life, because I try to numb hard. So like for me, it's like, man, if someone didn't feel anything in 2020, it could just be me, because I tried 2020 hard to just be like, nah, man, this is good, everything's good. And there was just a lot of moments where I couldn't ignore it, because I try to run from pain so much, man. But it's like I'm now getting to the place in my life where I'm like, damn, if I don't go through that pain, I don't write this music. So it's not like searching for pain, but just like allowing it to like happen, instead of just like trying to numb, which is like my first reaction is like, how do I numb this quick without feeling a single thing? But I'm like, man, if I like didn't allow myself to feel it, and then people are like, how was your 2020? And I was sitting here being like, it was incredible, I probably wouldn't have the project. Right. You know what I mean? So it's like, you gotta let it go through.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. And that was going to be my question, but I'm glad you answered it. Just, writing this song and being in a certain state of mind, are you fearful that you always have to be in that state of mind to write stuff like this?
Yeah, definitely now, because I definitely want to, I think the things that I feel closest are subjects that are like very large questions, self-reflection, and analytical questions about justice, questions about God, questions about life after death, questions about, am I going to be a good dad, questions about like stuff like that. So it's like I write a lot of that. Sometimes I'm like, man, I wish I could just write like a love song, like just happy. And I got one, or actually I got two. Got two kind of like love songs that I'm like, this shit kind of like, this could be cool. So it's like I've at least got one or two that are like, this came from the heart, and I mess with them. I like them. But the things that I really stick with, and that like come so easily for me, are these like questions. And it's mainly just because I'm constantly questioning myself. So maybe it's unhealthy, I don't know, but I'm just constantly questioning myself, not on like my decisions, but like, why do we do these things as humans? Why does that person do that? Is there a connection between me and Chris, and like how we both think, and we were raised in different areas? And like, I'm always asking, and I'm always piecing things together in a very neurotic way, that like the music flows from like days, weeks, months of writing and journaling and like questioning. And then when I get to the studio, it's like me and you had a conversation, and I'm in the studio, or I'm in a writing session, or I'm going down and meet the phrase you said to me might have been like, do you always have to feel that way? And then I'll get in the studio and it's like, do I always have to feel this way? And it's like that. And then it flows from there. So it's like using little phrases or something that's but trying to like, I'm always listening for those questions. I'm always asking myself those questions, and I'm always looking for those phrases, those words that just kind of stick out. And then I like will flow an entire song from that phrase or that word or that feeling that word gave me.
Okay. It's, do you whenever you get, a question in your head, and then again, the faucet's on and a song comes out, do you ever find yourself, oh, I actually answered that question that I kept asking myself?
Well, what do you mean? So like, do I ever like go like, oh, I find an answer actually for it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'd say like in like Lost Control, that one's literally just it's a cry for help. But it's like, I think the songs end up serving a different purpose, because it's like, the chorus is this real? Is this real? Yeah, yeah. Tell me what the hell am I? Tell me what the hell am I really looking for? If you're near, help me because I'm about to lose control. So it's like it's a cry from help from like God or if you the universe or whatever. But it's also like anybody who's listening, like, could you help me? So it's like I could answer that simply and say like, yeah, I found the answer. Like there were people who were there for me,
Right.
but then it'd also be like, not the full truth because I'd be like, no, I start that song with like, I feel like I talk too much. I'm always losing friends. So it's also like this mixed emotion of like, someone wasn't able to hear my cry for help when I was at a dark place and someone wasn't able to see that. And I do this whole song like as if I'm like of some damn child throwing a temper tantrum and I'm putting out the song being like, yo, now y'all see this is a cry for help. Now y'all see. And I had a bunch of people they'd be like, yo, your music video was all like dark and scary, but the song is like fun. Like, I don't really understand why you went that route. Like, why are you pulling down your eyes? Why is it like all ghosts and spooky? I was like, because it's a very disturbing song and lyrically. Like, I'm asking really hard questions. I'm really sad, but I wanted to show the emotion of the lyrics while also showing how I handle my emotions, which is play. So I'm like, so that whole music video is like playful. It's Goosebumps, Scooby Doo. It's like it's scary, but not. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, which is kind of creepy, but nah, not really. And now I'm like, that's Goosebumps, that's Scooby Doo, that's like those things. They're not actually scary, but they play on scary things. And I'm like, and that's how I handle sometimes my emotions unhealthily. So I don't think it's always necessarily coming up with an answer, if that makes sense. Like, I don't really always feel like I find a legitimate answer, but I'm able to pose a question in a way that hopefully someone else can sit down and be like, hey, I actually have the same questions. And now I just don't feel alone, which is kind of my biggest thing is like, if I can ask a question, whether I find the answer or not, if someone else feels like there's somebody out in the world asking the same questions as them, now you got a home. Now you got community. Now you got people together. Now you just built something. And it could be just a whole community of people asking the same question who never find the answer, but at least they got friends.
Yeah. And man, I love this. This is fascinating. Just because I'm just fascinated with the writing process and the state of mind people go to. And just listening to you, I feel like you are somebody who likes to tap into your emotions and really dig deep, not only to your emotions, but everything that's going on in your world. But is there a time that ever comes up where you write something and you're just like, man, this is way too personal. I don't know if I can release this, or I like, do you ever have those moments?
Yeah, I think I felt that way with Bad Habits. And when I wrote Bad Habits, I felt that way because that was like, I just felt, I was like, I don't really feel like I wanted to put out a song. They are Bad Habits and Father of Prayer, both kind of like, in my opinion, went under the rug. But those are both very personal songs where it's like Father of Prayer was also mid 2020 where I'm sitting there going like, yeah, I'm so close. This shit's too hard alone. I know you'll never leave me, where it's like very, very like solemn, sad, kind of trying to figure stuff out. And I wrote that in, what ended up becoming my baby, bedroom. But I was like building stuff in there and it was like midnight and again, lost my job, everything. I just pulled out the acoustic and I was just like scared. And I was like, am I going to be a good dad? Am I going to make money? Am I going to figure this out? What the hell is going to happen? What the hell is happening? People are looking at me. Everyone is looking at me. Feels like all eyes are on me just because I'm black. All of a sudden I would get random people who were either really nice or very mean during that season, especially in June. And both made me just very aware of the fact that I am black, which is like, I know that I carried that weight, but now you watching me makes me realize that weight's heavy. So it just feels different. And so then by the, Bad Habits, and both of them kind of just were like these confessions from myself that it was like, I don't want to put this out, but it's like, it's right on that other side of fear. And I'd say like the way I chose to do Lost Control and share Lost Control, as well as Hands Up Don't Shoot, I'll say that too. So the way that I chose to show and showcase those songs, those were scary moments for me. Hands Up Don't Shoot was scary to put out, and I think the music video that we'll do later this year for it is another thing that I'm having to conquer and fear, is because I hated the feeling in 2020 of controversy. I hated not being liked by people, and it was like for no reason, but like no good reason, but like just standing up, just being like, no, Black lives do matter. And people be like, oh, shut the hell up. Come on, man. Why are you making this about race? Come on, bro. Can't we all just be friends? And I'm like, well, yeah, I'm saying the same thing. We should all be friends. But like, and so I would have these moments and it just made my voice feel so silent and so dumb. And so I kind of went into hiding. And so writing Hands Up Don't Shoot, writing, doing stuff like Lost Control, Bad Habits, the way I've like promoted them, the way I've like showcased, some of them just like have been scary, and like showing people from like my religious background, growing up in the church. Dad's a pastor, I'm smoking cigarettes, and I know my dad hates cigarettes. So I'm smoking cigarettes in Bad Habits music video. To not even talk about cigarettes, to talk about porn addiction. But I was just like, damn, I should really I'm not going to show myself addicted to porn. So I'm going to use a symbol of a cigarette. Yeah. And so I'm just like doing that stuff. But I like in that process, I'm like breaking these barriers that aren't big barriers to the rest of the world, but they're to me and my family, to me and my past, to me and my community. And so they were always tough for me to overcome, but I always feel incredible on the other side of them. Like I never regret it. So I've just kind of been forcing myself to do that little scary piece of like, hey, this feels vulnerable, but if I get on the other side of it, I'm going to really like this.
Yeah. And again, my whole thing is that, I've always kind of listened to my fear, because obviously if something, I want to do scares me or puts fear in me, it's obviously something that I care about. And for me, I just always feel like, oh, this means this is the right direction. If I'm scared to do something, then this is something I need to do, versus like, meh, whatever, who cares? It's just like, what's the point of doing it then, if there's going to be no risk involved? So,
yeah, 100%.
But no, and again, for people at home who want to listen to the music, follow you online, do all that sort of thing, where can they do all that?
Yeah, they can. I mean, you can find my music basically. I like this. I'm always like everywhere. But specifically, you can go on like Spotify's, what I typically use of choice, but Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal. You can just look up Benjamin Carter. You'll find me. YouTube. You'll find, some of the music videos. We have some new music videos coming up for Black Boys on the Radio coming in the next couple weeks here. We'll be announcing and sharing that soon. And then later on this year, working on the Hands Up Don't Shoot one. When you're indie, it's like indie and trying to do quality stuff. Sometimes stuff moves a little slower.
Right.
If it's going to be Black Boys on the Radio one, I think is a very, very, very special one that I think we did. And Hands Up Don't Shoot will be a special one conceptually and message wise as well.
Okay, nice. And I like what you're doing, and I can't wait to have more. Selfishly, I want more of it, but you said, indie, it takes a little bit of time. So however long you need, just know that you got one person still interested. All right.
I love that. Yeah, we have part two part two is basically done. I'll let you know that it is basically sitting there done. So you know, on the other side, it was like, hey, how do we deliver this where we can create a world that is just beautiful and that everybody can enjoy for a long time, with the artwork and the visuals and everything else, and elevate it, you know, and keep elevating this world and elevating the music and elevating the community and how big this community can get. And so that whole thing, you know, but part two musically is like, I'm just kind of like, I'm getting antsy. I'm like, you can already, if you go to TikTok now, you'll see there's like I got some random clips with like just a very tiny snippet that sounds nothing, absolutely nothing like part one, which is very exciting for me, because I am like, the part two is I just think it's very, very fun. It's still very much rock. But I've been able to, I think we were able to match the old Ben, the kind of the R&B sounding vocal Ben, to this punk alternative rock Ben. And we were able to finally blend some of those sounds, some of those ideas, together in these songs on part two. So it's very, very exciting, to be able to put that out. So I'm just sitting there, I'm getting antsy.
Well, you know, again, you know, whenever that goes out, I'm totally down. I'm totally ready to listen to it. But you know, I know it's late, so you know, thank you so much for chatting with me. And again, I'm really looking forward to part two.
Appreciate it, man. I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for even having me on this, man. It means so much.
Of course. Yeah, no, it's completely my pleasure. And anytime you want to come back and just chill and, I don't know, talk about whatever, talk about languages, maybe, I don't know. We can do that. All right.
Let's do it, brother. That sounds good.
but I'll let you go. Have a good rest of your night, and keep you and your family stay safe and healthy. All right.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.